Hi guys, thanks for tuning into my channel again. Today I was gonna talk about the Elephant Man, and I've been wanting to do a video on him for a while anyway, so I just decided to make this one about him. And the reason why I was wanting to do a video on the Elephant Man is because last year I decided to watch the movie for the first time on YouTube. I didn't actually watch it from beginning to end, but I watched just a few scenes on YouTube from it. And, you know, just from what I've seen of the Elephant Man, I mean, the first scene that I watched, it was where Dr. Treves brought him home to live with him, and he was introducing his wife to him. He was introducing Joseph Merrick to his wife, and his wife came in and shook his hand and said, "It's nice to meet you." And he started crying, and he started saying, "I don't know what it's like to be treated so nicely by a beautiful woman." And just that scene alone was enough to make me teary-eyed. So I don't even have to watch the whole movie or even understand what the whole story of the Elephant Man is to really understand the pain that he was feeling at that moment. Because when I watch that movie and when I read the story of him, I just, you know, I feel like every one of us can relate to him, because we all know what it's like to be judged by what we look like. We all know what it's like to be treated differently than someone else because of the way we dress or the way we look or how intelligent we are. You know, whether we like it or not, people do judge us by what we look like, and we can't do anything about that. And sometimes when I think of Joseph Merrick and what he had to go through, like, it really is, it's sad. And sometimes I think to myself, why did he have to go through that? Why couldn't God just make him look like everybody else? And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and try to explain why God probably did it, but in my mind, I kind of came up with my own theory of why God created Joseph Merrick to look that way. And here's my little theory. I don't think God made Joseph Merrick look the way he did because it was supposed to be a joke, or because he's just mean and doesn't love him like he loves other people. I think the reason why God created Joseph Merrick to look the way he did was to reveal how ugly other people are. That sounds really deep, doesn't it? Well, God is a deep person, so I believe that this is what was happening. You know, it's okay for someone to be ugly. It's okay for someone to not be very attractive on the outside. It's okay if you have a disfiguring disease like Joseph Merrick had, but, you know, the way other people decided to treat him, it revealed something about them instead of revealing something about Joseph. And, you know, that's just how I feel about it. When people judge us and criticize us for looking a certain way, and if they choose to treat us differently just because we look different, it does not say anything about us. Okay, Joseph did not choose to look that way. God is the one that, I guess, planned all of this out for some reason, and that's just how it turned out. You know, there's no reason to try to figure it out or try to go back and forth and try to figure out what was going on. Just simply let it be and just accept it the way it is. You know, Joseph was known as the Elephant Man because he was deformed, and he's always going to be known as the Elephant Man. But that doesn't mean that we need to judge him and ridicule him because, you know, because after watching the movie The Elephant Man, one thing it did for me was it helped me to appreciate what I look like so much more. It made me realize that no matter what we look like on the outside, even if we're not that good looking, we should just be thankful that we don't have to go through what he had to go through, because even though he seemed like a tough person on the outside, I know that it must have hurt him really bad to be treated that way. But you know, the story of Joseph Merrick is not all bad. Okay, he was treated harshly by a lot of people, but in his last days of living, Dr. Treves brought him into his home and treated him like a friend. So that right there is another reminder that it doesn't matter who doesn't like you, as long as you have one friend that cares about you and loves you the way you are, then that's all that matters. And from what I've seen of Dr. Treves, he treated Joseph Merrick way better than what anybody else ever treated him. And yes, it's not fair that the world has to be so cruel, but at least the doctor was not like that. The doctor actually had a heart, and he saw Joseph Merrick as a human being, because that's what he is. And I think we all need to learn to see ourselves that way too. You know, just because we don't look like him, that doesn't mean that we don't ever have days when we feel ugly or we don't feel like we need to change who we are to make other people like us. And I think The Elephant Man is a good movie to watch whenever you need to be reminded of how amazing you truly are. I know that nobody wants to admit how amazing they are, because most of us really don't believe that. But if you were created by God, and all of us was, that means that you are amazing in your own way. Okay? You were created for some kind of a purpose. I don't know what it was. I don't know why, what God's plan is, but he creates everybody for some kind of a reason. And even if you're not here on earth to do anything for other people or to help anybody, just enjoy your life anyway. Just enjoy the fact that God created you and he gave you a life, and just appreciate it as much as possible. Okay, I think I'm rambling on a little too much. I think that's all I wanted to say. So yeah, The Elephant Man has taught me to appreciate the way we look and don't take anything we have for granted, and don't ever judge someone by what they look like, because if you do that, you're going to miss out on getting to know someone that might be really cool. Alright, well, I think I'm going to go now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great night.